Did you know that one of the smallest islands on Earth once ruled over a quarter of the entire world? India, parts of Africa, Australia, North America, almost 1 out of every 4 humans lived under its flag. How did a small, cloudy, rain-soaked island become the most powerful empire in history? This is the unbelievable rise of the British Empire, and the truth behind how it happened. Britain was not always powerful. In fact, for most of its early life, it was just a cluster of kingdoms, fragile, divided, and constantly fighting among themselves. But everything began to change after one event: unity. When the kingdoms finally came together, they stopped fighting each other and started looking outward. The world beyond their shores was vast, dangerous, and full of opportunity. Britain had one major advantage: the sea. With almost no land borders, the only direction they could expand was outward. So they turned their eyes to the oceans, and from that moment forward, the sea became their greatest teacher. Small wooden ships grew into massive war vessels. Sailors trained harder than ever. Navigation improved, trade routes expanded. Slowly, Britain became something it had never been before: a maritime nation. But the real turning point came with ambition. Britain didn't just want to explore the world, they wanted to shape it. They built ships faster than any empire in Europe. They trained captains who were fearless in storms and ruthless in battle. They created ports, trading companies, and alliances across continents. And every time they touched a foreign shore, they planted something behind outposts, forts, and eventually, colonies. The most powerful move they made was the creation of the British East India Company, a trading company that became richer than some countries. It built armies, negotiated with kings, and slowly took control over vast regions of India. Britain didn't conquer India overnight. It happened step by step, deal by deal, battle by battle. Back home, something else was happening: the Industrial Revolution. While the rest of the world still relied on muscle and hand tools, Britain built machines, steam engines, factories, railways. Every invention pushed them further ahead. More ships, more weapons, and more goods to trade, more power. The empire grew like a rising tide. Canada, Australia, the Caribbean, Africa. Nations thousands of miles apart now carried the same flag. If the sun rose in one British colony, it was setting in another. That's why people said the sun never sets on the British Empire. But the empire was not made of glory alone. Behind the power were harsh realities: war, exploitation, and resistance. Britain's rise came with a cost, and many nations suffered under its rule. Revolutions erupted. People fought for independence. And once the world shifted after 2 massive world wars, the empire could no longer hold its size. The colonies broke free, one after another. India in 1947, Africa in the following decades. Nations regained their voices, their freedom, their future. And like all empires in history, Britain's reign eventually faded. But the story of its rise remains one of the most dramatic transformations ever seen. A small island, limited resources, barely any land, yet it became the most powerful empire on Earth through the sea, through ambition, through industry, through strategy. Today, the British Empire is gone, but the world it shaped still remains in language, laws, culture, trade, politics, and global connections. This is how that tiny island became a global superpower, and how it changed history forever.